Колеги, ми продовжимо робочий день. До слова запрошую.
Esteemed colleagues, we are going to continue our working day. I would like to ask to join here Oleksandr Shulga. The focus on the research regarding the attitude towards new police. Alexander, you have the floor. Thank you. As has been already mentioned, my name is Oleksandr Shulga, head of the center which took care of this kind of study or research, which is called the public opinion to entrust in the new Kyiv Patrol Police. We actually had started several focus groups. As a technique, we select, just to get not just the figure, 85% trust, have place confidence, others not. We focused group method used in order to get the whole picture, some kind of fears or hopes, aspirations, expectations, etc. So this study was conducted in 4 million strong population cities: Kyiv, Kharkov, Lviv, and Odessa, where actually the new police started to appear in the streets, and some of the population already encountered the new policemen. And they acquainted themselves to some extent with those. So in those cities we carried out the study as regards trust or confidence. Trust is placed mostly by our citizens in the new police. I mean, they trust it, and this is no news because we already had the results of other polling or studies, but they do that with some kind of reservations or limitations. What I'm talking about, first of all, most likely when the people are asked whether they trust the new police or something like that, they usually say that they wish to trust them. We can't issue a credit of trust to them, but even those who would like to trust new police, they recognize absolutely 100% of the respondents of those polled. They say that so far the new police employees have not reached the level, a certain level, either for lack of education or some practical experience, and they still believe that with the time passing they will actually catch up with that. So also we dedicate a lot of time to find out the positive and negative aspects as seen by our citizens in new police, and the most important among the positive things. Actually, we have, generally speaking, we must say that the positive response in the role actually larger than the negative. So they speak about rather educated manner. The police communicate with the people. Also, in another aspect of new police, this is benevolent attitude as distinct from the old police. First of all, through the discussion, some arguments, and not using some force or threats and violence. I mean, and also the respondents can say some kind of sensitivity or compassion on the part of the new police, and they wish to help the people. Also, very important trait is the constant presence of the new police in the streets. They can see that, and here, according to the response, very important thing, very positive thing, that the police drive the car with the flashing lights, and it can be seen. I mean, their cars can be seen several blocks away, and which instills some confidence in the people. Also, there were some negative assessments. Speaking about this, the time takes the police to come to the to respond to the calls. Also, what they believe to be positive, the overwhelming majority of young people. Moreover, those young people which were never involved in the law enforcement agencies or bodies before. And this actually is rated, according to our response, a high motivation of the young people, and they are being non-corrupted. Why they are not corrupted? There are different opinions. More optimistic respondents who said that because of the moral principles of the new policeman. Others were more skeptically. They had more skeptical view because they do not know how to take the bribes or are afraid to take bribes. Also, according to those, to the opinion of those polled, we are talking about a new police, the equality among of everyone, even if somebody violates the rules. Our citizens believe that those perpetrators at least will be stopped. Speaking about some external assessments, and of course, very good, appearance, very good appearance, nice uniform, well-equipped police, the new cars, etc., and high salaries. Speaking about the negative assessments, here the major one is lack of the professional training and a very short-term period of studies they went through. And actually, the question is how long the new policemen have to study or to learn to be well trained. And the opinion was between 6 to 12 months for the rank and file, and for the officers and the commanders even longer. As for actually, we were talking about the positive trends or positive traits, I would say, but they also have some negative consequences or effects, which were also mentioned by our respondents. First of all, a lot of those response, even those who places trust and has a good attitude to the police, they doubt whether that the policemen will be able to protect them in case of need. Yes, they are nice and they are kind of a graphic appearance, but if the perpetrator or the perpetrators, experienced criminals will be armed, it's hardly believable that the policemen themselves will be able to protect even themselves, and don't to say about the protection of other citizens. So this nice appearance and the big number of the ladies or women as members of new police, and actually that was a very positive, had a positive effect on our respondents. They believe that this speaks of the equality of genders, and but there is another opinion that this is negative because they lack physical training or shape, and they cannot intimidate or scare off the criminals, and of course they lack skills and knowledge how to apprehend or how to detain the perpetrators. In other words, they believe them being the new police being non-professional yet. Also, some of our respondents indicated such negative aspect, or even the cases when they were eyewitnesses, the lack of a response to the violation of laws, or let's say infringement of laws, which were committed or carried out even in the presence of new policemen and policewomen. For example, we are talking about domestic violence or some fights in the streets. And in those cases, the new policemen did not respond to that. They didn't know how to act under such circumstances. And again, brings us back to the lack of experience or lack of the knowledge or training. Also, some of the response said that quite for a long time, it takes a long time for a new policemen to take care of different traffic accidents, how to document them as compared to the traffic police, all the traffic police. Also, we can speak about the Tommy. On the one hand, the old police is total corruption. On the other hand, new police that is not involved in taking bribes. The objective of the old police to obtain the bribes. In the objective of new police, according to our response, is to be guided by the law, and they believe that something can be changed. And speaking about the old police, easy money, just to get closer to to the source of the money, and the new police are more tuned to change something. Another fundamental maybe change or difference according to our respondents is the difference in their attitude towards the people, towards the citizens. You were talking about the old militia and new police. And old militia's attitude was kind of people like to some kind of object facilities and trying to place themselves on top of everybody. And the new police actually the relation to the citizens is full of respect, etc. Another trait of the old militia, which is not characteristic of the new one. The respondents, overwhelming majority, would say that this is kind of the 100% support of each other and trying to cover each other, etc. And the new police actually do not do that, despite some kind of the close workshop, as they call it, workshop closeness and infinite and vicinity. And also, they're talking about trying to persuade somebody in the case of new police not to resort to the violence, which makes them absolutely different from the old militia. Though here there were some negative opinions because they say that it's too much. We're talking about the new police trying to persuade somebody. This is too much, of efforts on their part. And we already mentioned that in their presence there were some cases of violence against another person. So they believe that the new police has to have a more fast and more resolute response reaction to that. Also, they can see the citizens would like to cooperate with the new police. While if you're talking about the old militia, they experience some kind of this sense of fear. And according to numerous opinions of the response, they do not. They're not scared to show the person belongings. For example, new policemen approach them and ask them to open their bag or their rucksack or backpack, whatever. And they do believe that this will not have any negative effects for them. Also, big difference between the old militia and new police is the.
And according to our respondents, many respondents, they said that this low salary was one of the causes or reasons for old militia to be corrupted, to be very angry and non-efficient. And now the new police has high salaries, and it's a great motivation for the new police. As again, some positive side of old militia. First of all, we are speaking about experience. First of all, we are speaking about traffic accident and experience in that, in documentation and the instrumentation of traffic accidents with the vast experience in that, vast experience in working with felonies, with unlawful actions, etc. And new police, they lack this practice. And it is important to mention that, according to respondents, they believe that there was a corruptive way of enlisting into old militia, and now they expect that the new police is being manned without that corruptive component. And again, if new police will be able to improve the criminal environment in the towns, will be good. Many of our citizens, they do not know what is the job responsibilities of the new police. They understand it like new police should be involved in investigation. Everybody who understands the job responsibilities, then they understand that the law and order down the streets it will be a good task for new police, and they will be able to do that if the new police takes anybody to the precinct. Then they will have old militia in the station, so it could be bribe or something in that case. Now thank you very much. We're going to questions. Bogdana Kostyuk, Radio Liberty. Do you see any correlation between the positive attitude to new police and the fact you mentioned that majority of Ukrainians, they just do not trust to old militia? I believe that you have already communicated to the new police, and Taras Berezovets, politologist, after new police was represented in Kyiv, he said that yes, in many people, they do, when new police, they do want to work, but some of them, they just play cops, American way. As for the first question, it is logical. According to all the studies, throughout all the years, the trust to old militia was nearly zero. The 100% trust to old militia was at the level of 1%. Some trust was shown in 6 to 7% of respondents. The absolute majority did not trust old militia, 60–70%. So this new police, this is kind of a fresh air, sip of fresh air, because we're not speaking just about trust, absolute trust to the new police. It's just, say, credit of trust. Again, we never questioned policemen. We wanted to have opinions among citizens. Thank you, Oleksandr. One small clarification. You have mentioned that women respondents, they were positive towards the fact that there are a lot of women in new police. What about men's response? Yes, as I mentioned, in one hand, it's a positive fact that there are a lot of nice ladies in new police, but many people, they do not expect those ladies will be effective in, say, fighting with repeater. Any more questions? If no more questions, either we'll just finalize, or you probably have some conclusions. All those data, they are just initial data, and in half a year or several months we will continue with all that, because as I mentioned before, we are speaking about the, say, open-minded trust. Thank you, Oleksandr. Our next press briefing is 10:30.